Whoa. Trainspotting 2. This movie fucked me up in a really, really great way. Scum here. And I just got done watching Trainspotting 2, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it with you. But be forewarned as we go into this that some of this video might get a little bit real. I don't know. Maybe. So, Trainspotting 2, number one, it's a great movie. The writing is great. It's a great sequel, but it's also a great movie on its own. I feel if you haven't seen the first movie, this will work as a movie for you. Um, just the themes of the movie really work for people, even not the core audience of the original film. Um, Even though I do think that they will be happy and satisfied with the way that these characters are developed. The cinematography is great. The sets are great. Everything about the movie. It is a solid Danny Boyle movie. But having said that, I think one of the reasons why it hasn't been as well accepted, or it hasn't been maybe like rated as highly as the original film, might be because I feel that like while this is a movie that can work in general for everybody, it's really made not even so much for people who loved the original film, but for people who lived it, people who lived that life, uh, people like me, who even though now I've been clean for probably about 7 years, there was a long period in my life when I was a junkie, and I very much lived a similar existence to the characters from the first movie. And this movie, even more so than being a movie for people who loved the first movie just because it was a cool movie, I think is a film for people like me who were those characters in a lot of ways. And now, even though we're not living that life anymore, we're in a world that, in a lot of ways, is very difficult for us to navigate. And this movie does an excellent job of voicing those thoughts and those feelings that only a very select subset of the population will really 100% relate to. While I feel that the way they've done it allows people to relate to these ideas and themes on a lot of different levels, so that even if you're not like a former addict or a former junkie, I think there are bits of truth in there that you can glean that allow you to relate to the characters and empathize with them. But again, at its core, this is a movie made for me and people like me, and it's perfect. It does this great thing where everybody who, whether you've been a junkie or you just have a sketchy past, everybody who's lived that life and has tried to be a better person, tried to live a better life, you have moments where you fantasize about Breaking Bad because you remember there were times when you were free and fearless and you could do anything and the world was yours, and everybody else caught up in the system were living like schmoes, like they were jokes, and like you could just work around them, even though that's not true, but that's how you perceived it from that point. And sometimes at low moments you still kind of feel like, yeah, like I could get that back. And this movie shows you both the thrill and the exhilaration of giving in to that impulse, and like not necessarily going back on dope, but just Breaking Bad and like reverting to like that free and careless and fearless version of yourself. But then very quickly, while the movie really plays that very well, like it lets you have fun with it, it lets you forget about all the other problems that the movie has set up for these characters in their lives. It really helps immerse you in that feeling of the fantasy of becoming that person again. And then just as easily and as quickly as it goes into that mode, it fucking brings reality crashing back down and shows the reason why we don't do that and like all the things that happen because of it. And while telling this story, it manages just to do so many great and amazing things in terms of character that, again, if you're not someone like me, it gives you a great perspective into these kinds of characters. Because it's not just former junkies. There's also, frickin' Begbie, who was never really a junkie. He was just a violent guy, and he's been in prison, and like you get to see where he's at, and like him coming to terms with his life and his decisions and who he is as a person. So all in all, the movie's just freaking fantastic. I loved it. It did a real freaking number in me. There is this one particular scene in the movie where they bring back from the first movie the choose life, but they kind of explain it a little bit better, and then they really dive into it from the perspective of someone who lived that life and then chose life, and what it's like to live in a world where you don't matter. And like you've made the choice that everyone's always told you, like it's the right choice to make. You know, be a productive member of society, and then you get in there and you realize that you're nothing. And this freaking one scene, I'm gonna put a link down in the description for you to go watch this scene, because even out of context, this scene is hard to watch, and it is like bringing some real truth down on people in a very hard way, but the movie manages to like make it entertaining and make it something that can speak to you as a human being on a very emotional level. Like, the movie is fantastic, and this scene is a perfect example of why I really hope you guys go and watch it. Again, I don't really have a whole lot more to say, but like I do highly recommend this movie if you're a fan of the original, or if you're someone who used to live in the world of the original and now you have days where you feel lost and you feel like you're having a really hard time maintaining the course. This is a great movie to both like help you like explore that fantasy and then give you a reality check and be like, nah dude, that ain't what's up. Running, guys. So I really hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a like, leave your thoughts on Trainspotting 2 or this video down in the comments. If you would like to share this video with some friends, that'd be fantastic. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. As always, Nerd Scum, out.